Are you getting distracted by what other people are doing, by what you should be doing in order to be successful? Today, we're going to go beyond the comparison trap and instead look even deeper at how to play your own game. Welcome to Explore Your Enthusiasm, episode 229 with me, Tara Swiger. This is a weekly show where we talk about how to manage your creative business and all of the mindset and emotional stuff that comes along with that. So I think that we all think about how easy it is to fall into comparison. A lot of us are aware of the comparison trap. We feel it come up. We say, hey, comparison is a thief of joy. I'm going to back away from that comparison. But I want to challenge you today to go even deeper into what that comparison is bringing up and how to avoid comparison in the first place. Because the question isn't just, am I comparing myself to others? Because we're all human, we're all going to do it from time to time. But the question is, am I even playing the game I want to play? Am I even setting the rules for my own game? And in this comparing myself to people who care about the same thing I care about. So the question is, are you playing the game you want to play? So this came up a while back. And by the way, this is a blog post I wrote like 5 or 6 years ago. It's really a long time ago. So a while back when I was talking to Jay about our future comic book shop, he said, the other shop in town, they're really good at X. Maybe my shop should also be good at X, or should work at being even better at X. And my response was, but is that really the game you want to play? Is that the field you want to play on? Do you want to get good at doing X, or do you want to do something completely different? When you've talked to me about this shop in the future, you've talked about making it inclusive, having the most friendly customer service with a whole variety of people working at the shop. You want to make it a place for people to spend time, a place that stretches the imagination, and a place where people can feel like they belong no matter who they are. That's just a totally different game than what the other shop is playing. He was like, yeah, you're right. Which, by the way, best thing ever. My favorite thing to hear, especially from Jay, is that I'm right. So the thing is, I hear this from makers all of the time. So for example, she started classes and made a lot of money by selling classes. Well, do you want to teach? Oh no, I definitely don't want to teach. He said Facebook Lives have done wonders for his business. Well, do you want to be on live video? No, definitely not. You see, when you look at what other people are doing and you compete on their field, you're playing their game. You're always going to lose someone else's game because they set the rules to begin with. And by the way, they set the rules for themselves. They didn't ask you to come compete on their field. They're just like doing their own thing. It's like the difference between playing soccer and being like a high dive person. I don't watch a lot of sports, but like in the diving sport, you're just doing your own thing. You don't need somebody out there competing with you in the pool with you while you're diving, unless I don't really understand diving, which is possible. So the person you're looking at is holding the world record for their game. If they weren't, you wouldn't be paying attention to them. And what drew you to them is that they're playing their own game. So instead of you getting all into the game that they're playing and what their rules are and what their tools are and how they're doing it and who their customers are and what their price points are, I want you to focus on your own game. So what's your own game? You set the rules of what success is in your own business. You decide how you're going to move down the field. I should stop using sports metaphors. You decide what counts and what doesn't count. You decide what to measure and what to ignore. That's your own game. And if you play the game you care about, your whole business is going to be better and it's going to be easier and it's going to be more fun. So you want to get as awesome as you can get at what you love to do, not at what other people have success with. It is going to be way easier to go to work every day if you love what you're doing and you are doing the thing that comes from your interests and your passion and your strengths. And by doing that, it's going to free up your energy to create something totally new in your industry or your field when you're coming from a place of your own strengths. This is one of the keys of standing out in your industry. If you do something you most care about in the way you really want to do it, no matter what's bringing other people success, you're going to stand out. You're going to be different because you're not trying to do what somebody else is doing, but better. You're doing your own thing. So I shared a bit of this in a live video a couple years ago when I wrote this post, and a viewer said, by the way, the live video is Periscope because Periscope was the thing back then. A viewer asked me, or they said, but people might not like you if you do your own thing. Don't you worry that like if you're just totally doing your own weird thing, people aren't going to like you and so you're not going to make any sales? We have to challenge this way of thinking. We have to challenge it because it's just not the right frame to put around the situation. So for starters, your people, the people who you are serving and you're providing awesomeness for, the people that are excited to buy your thing, they are longing for what you alone can offer. They want what you alone are making. If you give them something that no one else is doing, they're going to love you. They're going to adore you. They're going to buy everything you make. When you step up to being the best at your own game, there are going to be customers who love it, who suddenly get it. The more me I am in my business, the more things I sell because people get it. They understand what I'm doing. They understand what I'm about. When I'm all wishy-washy and I try to do what other people are doing or teach similar classes because those sell well, which I've never been very even good at getting through creating the class, let alone selling it, because then people don't know what you're about. They don't know why you're doing what you're doing. It doesn't make sense. They don't trust you. They don't buy from you. Now, is everybody going to love it when you do your own thing? No. But guess what? Everyone doesn't love what you're doing now. They just don't. That's just not how it works. Your job is not to create something that everyone likes because everyone is never going to like the same thing. That's why there's Coke and there's Pepsi, right? Like we can't all agree on what the best pop is. Or maybe LaCroix and Perrier. Like you cannot get everyone to like the same thing. So the fact that they don't like you is like not a big deal. If you feel like no one likes what you're doing, so we're talking about not everyone liking it, but if you really feel like no one likes what you're doing, go listen to the episode Upgrade Your Everybody. It's episode 222. It will be linked in the show notes, or just scroll back in your podcast app or over on YouTube to Upgrade Your Everyone. Because there are people out there who will love it. You just need to surround yourself with the kind of people who get what you're doing, who are playing a similar game, or who care about the same kind of things. Now, your industry and your competitors, or the people in your life who don't get it, they might not like it. They might not get it. They might think it's super strange, it's very fringe, it's inexplicable, you're off the deep end. But that doesn't mean they don't like you. I want you to really keep that in mind. So I last year in 2017, started a new business where I help people learn about essential oils and natural solutions for a lot of different problems in their life. And that's a major part of my business. Some people don't like it. Some friends, some students, some longtime readers, listeners don't like it. And you know what? It doesn't mean that they don't like me. In fact, whenever I've had an email telling me that people didn't like it, they always say, but I love you. I've loved everything about everything. And by the way, it's a teeny tiny percentage. So far, it's 0.5% of people in my audience have ever messaged me about it. If you look at your audience and you take 0.5%, I bet that's not even going to be one whole person. So, them not liking it doesn't mean they don't like you. The people in your life might not get what you're doing with your business or with your life or with your choices. It doesn't mean they don't love you. So I think so often we're afraid of being excluded or not belonging. And that, by the way, is like a basic human need. But we're so afraid of that we think that somebody not liking a choice we made means they don't like us. But that's not what it means. They can still love us and not like the choice. They can still love us and not get our business. And beyond that, beyond the people in your life that you really care about still loving you, beyond you reaching the customers who are going to love and want what you make, it doesn't really matter. Your business is not counting on everyone approving of it. You do not have a business model that has to have everybody in the world love it and buy from it in order for it to succeed. If you do, then your costs are way too high. So it is relying on some people to be so into it, to be so passionately enthusiastic about it, that they can't wait to buy it. You only need a tiny amount of people in order to have a super successful business. and be able to pay all of your bills and be able to make money from doing what you love. If you want to hear more about that, go check out the episode, The Article That Changed My Life. I'm blanking on what episode number it was, but we will link it up in the show notes below wherever you're watching this. So that getting people passionately enthusiastic about what you do, that's only going to happen when you start offering something you are enthusiastic about. You have to believe in it. You have to love it. You have to be on board. You have to be like, this is the thing I am meant to do. And by the way, you don't have to feel like that right away. It takes a long time for us to get our business feet under us. And it takes even longer time for us to learn to trust ourselves and trust our gut and feel good about what we're doing. Some of us, it takes us a long time to get there. So it's okay if you're not there yet, but as long as you're playing someone else's game, you're never going to feel good about what you're doing. So tap back in to what you want to do, how you want to do it, the fields you want to play on, sportsing metaphors. You tune back into that so that you get enthusiastic about it and that shines out. You become a lighthouse of the thing that's going to draw people to you. So please don't be worried about anybody else. Don't be getting stuck in that comparison trap. Play your own game, make your own rules, set your own definitions of success, set your own goals and path to get to those goals. And then trust that you're playing the right game, that the people who love it will love it. So now I want you to think about, what is your own game? The thing is, I don't know, I can't tell you, but here are some things to ask yourself. Am I doing this? Whatever it is in your business, whether it's your newsletter or your website or the way you post on Instagram or the right way you answer emails, am I doing this because everyone else is? Or am I doing this because I'm great at it? Or am I doing this because it's something I want to get great at? Way back, one of my first podcast episodes, I asked the question, if you're going to become an expert at something you spend 10,000 hours on, are you spending your hours the way you want to become an expert? So if you're spending your hours answering the same 5 emails, do you want to become an expert at answering those emails? Or should you hire it out and focus on a different area of your business? Whatever you're spending a lot of time on is what you're going to become expert at. So think about, is this something I want to become great at? Or am I already great and it's a place of my strengths? So when you're thinking about that, think about the products you offer, how you offer it. Like, is it subscriptions? Are they one-offs? Are they exclusives? Think about how you launch it. How do you introduce it to the world? How do you market it? How do you describe it? How do you photograph it? Where is it sold? Do you want to work with the shops you're working with? Do you want to work with Etsy or do you want to work with Shopify? And all of that, what that entails in their business ethics. How much does it cost? Who do you serve? Who are you making it for? And who are you talking to? And who are you marketing to? Those are all aspects of the game that you're playing. And you get to decide each of those. Now, will each of those have the same scale business as another choice? No, that's something you have to figure out. Is the scale of the business you want? But I am here to tell you there are so many more customers in the very small niche that you are enthusiastic about than you think that there are. Seriously, I've seen businesses survive on the weirdest, tiniest, nichiest niche. I've been one of the people who find something and I'm like, this was made exactly for me. How are there enough people in the world exactly like me to keep this running? And yet it's a super successful business. So I want to hear what you think. What's the game you're playing? So the game I'm playing is providing you with enthusiasm and encouragement to become the best expert in your own business and your own life. I do that through free stuff like the podcast, paid stuff like my book, Map Your Business, and the tools like essential oils to stop your anxious feelings, low mood, lack of energy from getting in the way of doing the thing you care about. So if you know someone who could benefit from this, who could benefit from thinking about what their own game is and stop playing other people's games, if you think of someone who needs to hear it, please share it with them. You can take a screen capture of this as you listen to it on your phone and share it on Instagram. If you do that, tag me. I want to see your Instagram story. It's the only way I can see your Instagram story is if you tag me. I'm at Tara Swiger. Share it on Instagram with the hashtag Explore Your Enthusiasm, or just like send it to somebody. Tell them, encourage them, play their own game. If we all did that, we can all create thriving, amazing businesses and lives. I want to hear what your game is, so let me know over on Instagram. I'm at Tara Swiger. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic, enthusiastic day.